If she were fooling around with this guy, she'd be constantly talking about him to you. Heck, she'd probably even want you to meet him. Reba's mind reeled. Meet him? Barbara Jean had indeed suggested she meet Jordan. The pieces clicked into place, and a new resolve hardened Reba's expression. Where are you going? Cheyenne asked, as Reba stood up, grabbing her purse. Go down to the gym with the rest of the wackos, Reba declared, a determined glint in her eyes. Well, keep those arms as... The gym was a cacophony of grunts, clanging weights, and the relentless thud of treadmills. The air was thick with the smell of sweat and disinfectant, a stark contrast to the comforting aromas of Reba's kitchen. She felt like an alien, a visitor from another planet, amidst the sea of sculpted bodies and taut muscles. Oh, hey Reba, you came, Barbara Jean chirped, spotting her. She was mid-lunge, her form impeccable, her face flushed but glowing. Reba forced a smile. Yeah, man, there's a lot of beautiful people around here. Jordan, Barbara Jean's trainer, a man whose physique seemed to be carved from granite, emerged from behind a row of weight machines. He was indeed handsome, with a confident smile and eyes that sparkled with good humor. You should see them naked in the shower, he quipped, a playful twinkle in his eye. Reba's jaw dropped. Barbara Jean, however, merely laughed. Jordan, hey, ready to start, Barb Jean. Yeah, Barbara Jean replied, her gaze lingering on Jordan for a beat too long, or so Reba thought. Hey, you look great in that outfit. Jordan preened slightly. Oh, well, you know, the other ones get me kind of baggy. Reba watched the exchange, her internal alarm bells beginning to clang. This was exactly what Brock had feared. The easy camaraderie, the compliments, the suggestive comment about the shower. Can you believe her? Jordan said to Reba, gesturing to Barbara Jean. She did the impossible. She lost all that weight and kept these... He gestured vaguely at Barbara Jean's chest. Reba's eyes widened. She had to admit, Barbara Jean's transformation was remarkable in that regard. Okay, Jordan, Barbara Jean interjected, sensing Reba's discomfort. Jordan, this is my friend, Reba. Jordan extended a perfectly toned hand. Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm Reba, she replied, shaking his hand, surprised by the firmness of his grip. So, you gonna join us, Reba? Jordan asked, his smile unwavering. Reba stammered. Oh, I don't know. I just think that me and my, fellows will just watch for a while. Jordan chuckled. Well, Reba, you are not gonna get into shape by just watching. You need to sweat a little. Yeah, but you guys gotta understand, it's been a while since I've been in a gym like this, and I don't think... Hello! Jordan clapped his hands, cutting her off. Here, Barb Jean, you really are getting limber. Remember when you couldn't put your leg over my head? Barbara Jean giggled. Remember when I didn't want to? Reba watched, horrified, as Jordan expertly guided Barbara Jean into a deep stretch, her leg indeed extending high above his head. Is that legal? Reba whispered, then corrected herself. I mean, necessary. Jordan looked at her, a professional glint in his eye. It's critical to stretch the muscles out before you exercise them. Yeah, otherwise, you could really hurt something. Turn over. Reba's eyes darted between Jordan and Barbara Jean, her mind racing. This was all far too intimate, far too Reba, you need to watch this one, Barbara Jean said, a mischievous grin on her face. This one is my favorite. Now, this gives a good stretch to the back and chest muscles. Really should do this once a day. Jordan, with practiced ease, guided Barbara Jean onto her stomach, then gently, but firmly, placed his hands on her back, guiding her into a deep arch. His fingers brushed against her side, dangerously close to her chest. Oh, I'd do it all day if I could, Barbara Jean purred, a blissful expression on her face. Reba felt a flush creep up her neck. The heat in the gym suddenly felt stifling. You know, is this one of these, gyms that have the heat on real high? I'm sweating. Okay. Oh, wow. Time for some weightlifting, Jordan announced, mercifully ending the stretching session. Oh, that's enough of that stretching, Reba muttered, relief washing over her. Jordan moved to a rack of dumbbells, his movements fluid and powerful. Hello. Okay. Knock this out. He demonstrated a bicep curl with impressive ease. Reba watched Barbara Jean lift the weights, her form strong, her focus intense. The physical exertion, the close proximity, the undeniable chemistry. Reba had seen enough. You know, I think I've seen enough, Reba said, turning to Barbara Jean. So, what do you think? You have any interest in getting a personal trainer? Barbara Jean smiled. Only if he takes me out to dinner first. Reba sighed. Are you sure, Reba? Seriously. This is one of the best relationships I've ever had. Reba eyed Jordan. Then Barbara Jean. I think Jordan has his hands full with you. Jordan, overhearing, clapped his hands together. Oh, you're a beginner, Reba. You'll start with Dot. He bellowed across the gym. Yeah, this is Reba. She seems a little tense. I'd spend some extra time on the stretching. A large, imposing woman with muscles that rippled under her neon spandex. Dot lumbered towards Reba, a stern expression on her face. Hey, get down there! She pointed to a mat. Later that evening, Brock was pacing Reba's living room, a nervous energy radiating from him. So, did you see him? He demanded the moment Reba walked in. What's he like? Is he little? Could I take him? Reba collapsed onto the couch, exhausted. He's big, but he's not as big as Dot. Brock's eyes widened. So, what do you think? Is there something going on there? Reba sighed, running a hand through her hair. Look, Brock, I was hoping that I could go down to the gym and check things out and come back and tell you that there's nothing to worry about. Brock leaned forward, his face pale. That's it. Reba, come on. Reba closed her eyes, then opened them, meeting Brock's gaze. Okay, I don't know if they're having an affair or not, but if they keep working out like that, they might be having a baby. Brock's jaw dropped. Man, I knew there was something going on. Just then, Barbara Jean, looking radiant and refreshed, walked through the front door, her voice bright and cheerful. Hey everybody, I'm here, and I'm saying, well. Brock, his face a mask of betrayal, cut her off. Oh, hi honey. Don't you hi honey me. What are you talking about? Did you honestly think that I wouldn't find out about you and Jordan? Barbara Jean blinked, genuinely confused. What? We were working out. It was perfectly innocent. She turned to Reba, pleading. Reba, tell him what you saw. Reba, caught in the crossfire, held up her hands. I don't want to get involved, any more than I already am. Barbara Jean threw her hands up in exasperation. Okay, Jordan and I are not having an affair. He's gay. A stunned silence descended upon the room. Brock's mouth hung open. Reba's eyes widened. What? Reba finally managed. Barbara Jean, a defiant glint in her eye, turned to Reba. Do you honestly think I would let a straight man grab my breasts? Brock sputtered. Excuse me? He grabbed your breasts. Barbara Jean rolled her eyes. He's gay. He wasn't touching them. He was arranging them. Reba, still reeling from the revelation, slowly nodded. Okay, then, everything's fine. Carry on with your lives. But Barbara Jean wasn't finished. She turned her full attention to Reba, her voice laced with hurt and anger. No, Reba, everything is not fine. I had no idea you were so threatened by the new me. The slim waist, the toned legs, Reba scoffed. The fellas. Oh, the puppies. I am not threatened by you, Reba retorted, feeling a defensive heat rise in her cheeks. Really? Barbara Jean challenged. Her eyes narrowed. Yeah. Then why'd you go down to the gym? What? Were you spying on me? Reba hesitated, then sighed. No. Okay. Yes. I went down to the gym because I thought there was something going on between you and Jordan. Why would you think that? Barbara Jean demanded. Because you've changed, Reba exclaimed, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. Yes, you have. Ever since you lost all that weight, you're pushy and obnoxious, and you always want to be the center of attention. Barbara Jean threw her head back and laughed. A genuine, uninhibited sound. Hello, I've always been that way. Brock, who had been silently observing the escalating argument, chimed in. She kinda got a point there. Reba ignored him, turning back to Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean's smile faded, replaced by a flicker of hurt. Yeah, the way you guys look at me. I'm still the same Barbara Jean I always was. I'm just less winded. Brock, sensing the shift in the emotional landscape, stepped forward, a contrite expression on his face. No, she might be right. It could be us. I'm sorry, honey. Reba just got me all worked up. That's